everybody, it's Nicole Safely, and I am the founder of I Am Fierce. Super excited once again to bring you another amazing speaker for the Art of Confidence event, how to build unstoppable confidence and skyrocket your revenue. And believe me, there is a great tie here. And I've got Jared Miller with us. You guys, Jared is just amazing. He is the author of the book called Truth, The Lies We've Been Told, as well as the song Truth. And he is a singer-songwriter. He's passionately leading worship for the past 25 years. And he's in Houston, Texas. Jared's been involved in music all of his life, singing at conferences since the age of 8. And he's written and co-produced 10 records ranging from rock bands to solo and church worship projects. He's played with the likes of Jars of Clay, DC Talk, Skillet, and Ricardo Sanchez. With his book, readers will understand the importance of finding truth in a world filled with so many false truths. And oh my goodness, is that not true? And lots of misdirection. In his song Truth, which was co-produced with his longtime friend and an award-winning artist, Von Juan, the listeners are going to experience a fresh, driving fusion of hip hop, pop, and contemporary worship that carries the message of his book to a new level. And really, Jared's bringing a message that is so desperately needed at this time. So I am really excited to jump in with you, Jared, and just talk a little bit about where you find confidence comes from. So tell us a little bit about yourself and we'll dive in. I've got lots of questions.
Yeah, thanks, Nicole. It's an honor to be with you and to your audience. Super excited about this time together. Confidence is such a great topic for everyone, especially entrepreneurs, people of business. And so where do we get our confidence from? What a great question. If you allow me,
Yeah.
I was looking up the definition. The noun confidence, watch this is so big, is the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something, a firm trust.
Mm.
So confidence and trust is it's exactly related. It's directly related. The other definition is the state of feeling certain about truth.
Mm.
Isn't that interesting? Confidence, trust, and truth are all related. So here's what I come up with. Confidence is a belief that someone can be trusted. Confidence is feeling certain about the truth.
And when you talk about a world filled with misdirection, I just think about when I was growing up, and it may or may not have been right, but you had some things that you just knew. Like there was right and wrong. Today, I feel like the line has been made very fuzzy. And I believe that's been intentional. And so looking at truth, like what is truth? If I don't have truth and trust in the truth, how can I be confident of anything, really? It's interesting you bring that up. Tell me more.
Yeah, so we live in a world where there is there's a progressive momentum of the your truth mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So watch this now. Yes, every human alive has our own perception or perspective of the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But that's our lens of our perception of the truth. But it's not the truth. So your truth is different from the truth. And here's really what I want to simplify it.
Yes.
Truth is based on values.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is if you don't have a standard, if you don't know how to measure truth, then it's a free-for-all.
Yeah. Nobody can be wrong.
No one can be wrong. If no one can be wrong, no one can be right.
Exactly.
And if everything is important, then nothing is important.
Mm-hmm.
And if everything is a priority, nothing's a priority.
Yeah.
And if everything's okay, nothing is okay. So how can we have confidence in a world where there's no absolutes?
Right. Yes.
So if my truth is not based on values, then what is it based on? And if my truth is
Feeling.
based on my own feelings,
Mm-hmm.
here's what's scary. In modern society, feelings override facts.
Oh, all day, every day. Yes.
And here's what's crazy. Beliefs do not create facts.
Mm-hmm.
Let me expound. Facts test the legitimacy of our beliefs.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's when people argue, right? It is that trying to bring things in, measure them with what you believe. And then we likely determine, is that the truth or isn't it? It could be the truth, but you could absolutely say, I don't want that as my truth. And so we're still not aligned. But I totally see what you're saying. Facts test our beliefs. Yeah.
Facts test the legitimacy of our beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so most people don't want the truth. Most people want a reassurance that what they believe is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, every one of us want to believe that we're right. Who doesn't want to believe that? But if it's not based on values, I'll put it to you this way, it's based on sinking sand.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to hold. But values give us a strong foundation on which truth is built.
So we need to start and be grounded in our values. Yeah.
Values is the only solid ground that your life can be built upon. Here's what's crazy. Beliefs change, but values never change.
Mm-hmm.
Beliefs change with greater experience, dare I say greater revelation, right? Here's the belief. We're never going to be on the moon. They land on the moon. The belief changed. I'm never going to be able to do this as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman. I'm never going to have the confidence that I need. And then you get it and your belief changes. So beliefs change, but values never change.
That is an interesting point. Kind of what I'm hearing you say too is that sometimes and just going to accomplishment, you need to hold the belief before you actually maybe you're going to see it as well. And so, yeah, so we're going from values to belief to accomplishment or manifestation, whatever, the realization of a goal or something like that. So how would you, working with someone, a female entrepreneur, and I think it's interesting because in the world I'm in coaching in corporate America, what I do is very much values based. And people look at me like, okay, we're trying to develop software. What do values have to do with this team? But we start there because that's our ethos, right? We need to understand our individual values to make that team. I'm curious when you talk with people about, building themselves, goal accomplishment, life, where we're going, business and personal. How do you bring goals and our values into the conversation?
So values, let me backtrack just a little bit.
Go ahead.
It's not that our values won't change. I'm talking about the values are so solid in and of itself that if your life is built on those values, you won't sink and you won't crumble.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I would say to a female entrepreneur. I talked earlier about confidence is feeling certain about the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone says, what is influence? What is confidence? Certainty is confidence. Certainty is influence. If you have 3 people in a room, the one who's the most certain, the most confidence is going to have the most influence. So when I talk about truth, I'm talking about your why. So you mentioned, what does values have to do with software? Yeah. Your values is your why. Mm-hmm. So watch this now. When and if we forget the ultimate, we become consumed by the immediate.
Ooh, that's good. Unpack that for me. When we forget the ultimate, you become consumed with the immediate. Tell me more.
The ultimate is the why. Mm-hmm. Now, if someone says, why did you go into business? Why are you a businesswoman? Why are you an entrepreneur? Of course, we want to make money. That's a priority. If you don't make money, you stop. You're stagnated. You can't keep going. You can't stay in business. Captain Obvious. Yeah. However, if money is the end all, That's not a big enough ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
The ultimate should be, in my humble opinion, about serving the people who are entrusted to us,
Mm-hmm.
serving others. It's all about others. So if my why is serving others to the best of my ability, that's bigger than money, and money will flow from that. And that has to be the values. I have to value people
Mm-hmm.
more than I value money.
Yes.
I have to value people. It's like, why did I get into the business in the first place? If I forget the ultimate, if I forget, why did I do this in the first place? I could be doing anything. Why am I doing this specific gift, this task, this service? Why am I doing this? If it's not about serving the world, if it's not about adding value to people, then what is it for? And if I forget that, what I'll do is I'm going to be scrambling. I'm going to be looking at the marketplace. What are they doing? And what are they? I'm going to be copying people, the new trend, the new fad, and I'm going to forget. No, 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 no. I have a specific niche or niche, however you want to say it.
However you want to say it. Yeah.
I have a specific skill set, a specific gift. There's something that God created me to do. Watch this now, that if I develop it, is going to be better than anyone else could do in my shoes. Because there's certain things that only you can do that only I can do. John Maxwell's 17 laws of teamwork says the law of the niche. Everyone has a place where they add the most value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when I forget what specifically I can do better than anyone else on this planet, that was divinely orchestrated, and that gift is to the service of people, then I'm going to be consumed with the immediate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going to serve me or anyone else very well.
Yeah, we can't, and we don't. Somebody said, you need to be you, everybody else is taken. And it's easy today to get sucked in, especially in the online business world. Everybody is doing this and we're making 6 and 7 and 8 figures. And if you just do this thing, you're going to be great too. And it's like what they've created, while you can take clues from it, you're never going to be able to redo what someone else has done. You can follow the path of success, but you have to carve your own and listen to yourself and what's coming through as your gift, right? And
That's
yeah, being in service is huge. Why are we even here? And I totally believe that we're each divinely appointed to gifts and talents that we're to use, and we get to choose or not choose to do it, right?
That's right. That's right. And I believe that whatever your why is, it's got to be in your core. Like you gotta know that you know that you know that that when you stumble and when you go through hardships and when you have criticism and when you stumble, that's not the end all. You're going to keep going because that vision of the future is what's going to pull you through what you're going through right now. I'll put it to you this way. If you don't know your why, when it comes to confidence and business and entrepreneurship, if you don't know your why, you'll rise to people's compliments, but you also fall to their criticism.
Ooh, that's a good one too. Yeah, seeking outside approval of what you're doing, right? It'll go away just as soon as that encouragement goes away.
Yeah, you'll be a yo-yo, you'll be a puppet on a string. And so what happens is whenever you don't know your why, you keep living for acceptance instead of from acceptance.
Mm-hmm. I've been in this space for a long time, and people almost as a cliche say, if your why doesn't make you cry, then you're not doing the right thing. And it always like that to me. And that's where the sentence would end. I was like, oh, well, okay, I'm not sitting in my room crying. I don't know what's going on. How do I get that? And for me, it was through meditation and getting quiet and listening, and then being open to listen. And how do you listen when it's quiet? But that's the voice in our head that's guiding us if we choose to listen. When you work with people, or you're maybe delivering a sermon or whatever, how do you talk to people about finding their why?
Yeah, no, that's great. And it's funny that you mentioned about, what do you cry about? Well, I'm not crying right now. I believe there's a couple of things. I believe that if a problem sticks out to you, that might be a clue that someone else is not supposed to fix it. You're supposed to fix it.
Mm,
If
yeah.
something if something sticks out to you and it resonates and it continues to resonate, and it wasn't a one-off, but you keep saying, man, something's got to be done about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then that voice in your head says, yeah, well, how about you do something about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, I'll give you a prime example. As a worship leader, this is my story. So I hope that it helps someone who's listening,
Please share.
who's watching. For me personally, I'm not limited to this. I'm also a speaker and an author and a coach. But as a worship leader, I use music to connect people to God.
Mm-hmm.
You with me?
I am.
So when I'm on stage and I'm seeing you, it's palatable. You can see hearts that are heavy.
Mm-hmm.
You might not know details of what people are going through, but you can, in the atmosphere, you can feel, is it joyful? Is it peaceful? Is it solemn? And so all these things are happening in nanoseconds. And then as you begin to sing, you vividly see burdens begin to lift,
Mm-hmm.
and people's lives are being transformed through music. Now, look, if it's country music, if it's rock and roll, if it's hip hop, whatever it is, if you've ever been to a concert where there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people, you and I both know it's like this overwhelming feeling when everyone's singing at the top of
Yeah,
their lungs.
absolutely.
And most of them can't even sing,
But it
but
doesn't matter. Yeah,
they know every word and they're going for it. And it's emotionally overwhelming sometimes.
I bet.
Now, imagine that same principle, but you're singing to your creator.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing lives transform through the gift of music.
Yeah.
Music is not the end all be all. Seeing people's lives be changed, that's the end all be all for me. But music is the tool. And so that's a practical way of how my why lives out in real time for me.
I love it. I am very moved by music. I'll tell you, one time we had a really horrible thing going on in our family, and I had decided I was going to, at 11 o'clock at night, I was going to drive from Missouri to Minnesota to confront someone who had done something to, really bad in to our family. Like, I just can't take it anymore. And on that 8-hour drive, I listened to Kirk Franklin all the way there. And I
Yeah.
will say, Kirk Franklin saved this person's life. Like, just let me. And I mean, it was a drive, and I wasn't stopping because I knew what I needed to do. But the connection there, just the feeling, the words, being and able to be in that space. Music is powerful in and of itself, and when it's through it's God and the words are there, it's kind of like any other message. They're going to touch the person they're supposed to touch, and everybody can hear the same song often and have a completely different interpretation, but it is very powerful and gets you to think, because I think it starts your thoughts. Something will spur something, and it starts your thoughts about where I could go, what I could do, what's important, and that sort of thing. I love it.
Mm,
I can't
yeah.
imagine being in your shoes on stage, though, and feeling all those emotions and then still being able to perform. I mean, just the overwhelming nature. I don't know.
Well, you're right. And it helps that I've been doing it for 27 years.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be sarcastic. No,
No.
it really does, because so for the audience who's not familiar, we have in-ears. They're like AirPods,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so we have a supplemental instrumentation to make our sound bigger and better and more professional, along with our live musicians. So I have someone talking in my ears
Oh, wow.
as I'm singing, as I'm feeling the room, as I'm doing my best to hear from God, as I'm not forgetting my lyrics, and it's all happening in real time. And the very fact that I've been doing it for so long enables me to, I'm used to it now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, that's why you're a little tired after you get done for about 30, 40 minutes, because it's not just vocal. I mean, it's emotional, it's spiritual, it's
Mhm.
physical and mental, all for the sake of seeing people's lives change for the better.
Mhm. And you don't have to be a pastor to change people's lives. And I think what you said is, when you focus on your why and you really listen and dial into what that is. And I would say too, if you don't know what it is right now, it's okay. Like, don't stress about, I don't know what my grand mission in life is. If you just get quiet, it can be revealed to you, like you just and listen to the things that are happening around us. But I do think, yeah, just being in that space, we all have the ability, and I think that's what we're charged with, is to just impact one person who then impacts someone else, and that mission, and uncovering and keeping focused on the ultimate. Yeah.
Yeah, and just a real practical tidbit. I tell people all the time, what are you passionate about, and what are you naturally gifted to do?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, in the music field, I got a lot of people who are passionate about singing, but when they sing, people frown.
Yeah.
No offense, right?
No, none taken. I'm
Like
probably one of those.
the, they're not naturally gifted
Mhm,
to do that. And so, like, what do you can be passionate. That's great, man. We need people who are passionate. We need people that what they do makes them come alive.
mhm.
That's huge. But are you naturally gifted to match that passion to serve people to the best of your ability?
Yeah.
Those are clues to your why. I heard a story not long ago, and I was reading it in a book actually, about Benjamin Franklin. He was on his way. Watch this now. This is so funny, to hear a revivalist speaker.
Mhm.
And so Benjamin Franklin's friend, who was going with him, said, "I didn't think that you believed what this gentleman's talking about." And Benjamin Franklin said, "I don't, but he does."
Mm.
And
Conviction.
so
Mhm,
what's amazing is even if someone doesn't align with your beliefs or your values,
mhm.
if you are so confident and you are so trustworthy and you are so certain about your why and what you believe and how you add value to the world, even if someone doesn't see eye to eye with you, they will be attracted to you. They
Mm.
will be drawn to you because people are drawn to certainty. People are drawn to confidence because most people are not. And it's our privilege and our right, should I say our duty, for everyone to become confident in their life.
100%. That's why we're here. And I don't know that this is a grand calling, but the I Am Fierce community has been on my heart for 8 years. And I played in it. And when I show up, people show up and they give me that feedback all the time. And then I go, and I get scared that what I'm going to do isn't going to be the right thing. And so I'll stop, and it's held me back. And I've recognized that when I step in fully, and I'm there and I'm confident, people are like, oh my gosh, where are you? I missed your video. Oh, this is great. So yeah, and it gives other people permission to do the same thing, right? When
Yes.
you start to lead, people follow, and then they may start leading you. But because you got started, there are other people that are just waiting for somebody to say, hey, Jared, it's time, let's go. And yeah, that's so key. And having people in your life, whether you're the person, I have a girlfriend who believed in me long before I really believed in myself. My husband's amazing. Oh, you're awesome, you can do all this. He doesn't count. He has to say that, like, I paid him when we got married, right? But my career, from her just speaking to me in, you can do this, just go do it, blah blah, be that person, but go and do what's called, and having that confidence, sometimes even if it's wrong, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just to add to that, if it's okay,
Please.
some people wake up to an alarm clock.
Hmm.
Some people wake up to a calling,
Hmm.
and your career is something that you really want to do, but your calling is something that you have to. Um, I know I'm throwing a lot of one-liners and gold nuggets, but I love the way Steve Harvey said it. Your career is what you get paid for, but your calling is what you're made for.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really want to drive those points home to our audience today because you can make all the money in the world and not be fulfilled.
Mhm.
It's got to go beyond that. And my prayer and encouragement for every listener is for them to find that calling, to find that why, because that's truly where the confidence is going to come from.
Yeah. You just get dialed in. You know that you know, right? When you're trying to force things, you should listen to that too. Like maybe it's not the thing or the not the time. And um that's so key. The career is what you get paid for. I want to point out too, your career doesn't always have to be the thing that you're called to do. You can do your calling without getting paid for it.
That's
Uh,
right.
and I think today I see a lot of people, that get dismayed. They actually are looking for something in corporate America that corporate America was never designed to deliver, which is the fulfillment of some grand passion and purpose. Instead of, sometimes there's a time to pay the bills and then use that money so you can go do your passion. I happen to believe that you can put them together as an entrepreneur, and there's plenty of people that will pay you to live in your calling. But you don't always have to have the two married to each other, but it's important. At least for me, I'm 51. I'm like, I'm not going out like this. I want more. I know I have more to deliver, and it's time to live in the calling and figure out how to get paid for it. That's the key. But even if you don't get paid for it, I strongly encourage people to live in their purpose. It'll fuel everything else, and the money will probably grow in the other area just because you're in purpose and calling. Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Oh my goodness. I want to hear you sing sometime. So I'm gonna have to go get that truth song. And I would love for you to give us some links to where we can find your music as well. I could probably sit here all night, Jared, and talk about confidence. Is there anything that you want to share before we wrap up this evening?
I think when it comes to confidence, I want to give just three quick points as we wrap up. When it comes to confidence for yourself and for others, three things I want to talk about. Don't just impart information,
Mhm.
impart confidence.
Mhm.
Whoever you're working with, whoever you're interacting with, don't just impart information, impart confidence. And here's how we do that. Number one, mention past triumphs.
Mhm.
Talk about the small wins of your past. You know, the past is a great place it's a great place to visit, but it's a terrible place to build a house.
Yeah.
So, but you can look back and say, here's where I won, here's where I learned.
Mhm.
Because if you learn, you never lose.
Right.
Right. So here's my triumphs, here's my small wins. Let me look back and remember, oh wait, it's not as bad as I thought it was. I'm going to build confidence by remembering the small wins and the small victories that brought me to where I am today. Number two, let's just repeat what we talked about earlier. Focus on your values.
Mhm.
If you don't know your values, humility is a great place to start.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like start. I love what you said. Just be still in a noisy world. Get alone. Find a quote unquote thinking chair. Get a quiet place of solitude and allow that voice to speak to you. Focus on your values. And number three, have a vision to reach for. You
Mhm.
got to have something to reach for.
Yeah.
If you forget the ultimate, you'll be consumed by the immediate. If I forget where I'm going, I'm going to be consumed with right now, and where I'm going is going to pull me out of where I am right now. Um, and I would just say that when you're talking about confidence, success is about you, but significance is all about others.
Mhm. Yes.
And having confidence leads to a life of significance, and that's what we're all after.
Exactly. How do we make an impact and know that our time spent here has been worthwhile? And sometimes we don't feel that. We have to know that that is the truth, right? We were created for greatness. We were created for one another. And in doing that combination and bringing your confidence to the forefront enables us to achieve significance. Jared, thank you so much. I know you guys, we have a secret giveaway for you too. You want to share what you have for the audience?
Yeah, I'm super excited and I'm honored. I really am thrilled. Everyone who's a part of this, I'm going to give you my audiobook for free.
Hey, all right. And I like that it's an audiobook. I don't have to sit down and read. So you can just take it on your run, take it to the gym, put it in your car, like we have CDs anymore. Stream it in your car, and listen to this goodness, the truth about the lies that we've been told, right? And one of them likely has been programming that told you couldn't do it, you weren't good enough, you're not worthy. All of those things are a flat out lie. So Jared, thank you for the reminder.
You're
Appreciate
so
you
welcome.
being here. Yeah, this was great. Thank you.
Thank you.